Thanks for joining us for this interview spotlight at the Global SCM Leaders Conference here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Greg Thompson and joined by Donna Mullins as we talk a little bit about compliance and discipline. And when we're talking about compliance, I mean, you're looking at things kind of on a global market perspective, customs and all of that. And as we look at it, Donna, I mean, the world's kind of gotten a lot closer with the interconnectivity that we have. The speed of business is increasing. I order it today, I want it tomorrow. Even if I order it overseas, I want it within 2-3 days. How does compliance and customs and all that play into everything, and how are the regulators adjusting to it?
Well, compliance, as we discussed in the panel, is a discipline in itself. If you're building your processes on compliance, then you're going to move your freight quicker. It's going to be more legitimate trade. And there's many programs out there that can be involved for importers and exporters. There's CTPAT, which is Customs Trade Partnership Against Terrorism. Other countries also have, like the AEO over in Europe, which has to do with trusted shippers, trusted traders. And when you're participating in those programs, it's showing that you're securing your supply chain. By securing your supply chain and knowing who you're doing business with, you're in effect putting compliance measures into your regulatory works there.
What are some of the biggest challenges for people in the supply chain doing international business? Now, I know you mentioned CPAT, which a lot of trade with Mexico happening that way, Canada as well. But when you look at that, what are some of the biggest challenges?
Some of the biggest challenges really are just trying to follow the rules. I joke and say that compliance is simply following the rules, and I say that with just, because the rules can be very convoluted. They can be very difficult to read, and they can be very difficult to follow. In the harmonized tariff schedule for importing, it tells you a series of GRIs, which is the General Rules of Interpretation, how you're supposed to classify cargo, and then each section could take you in a different direction than what the general rules do. So you have to really have, as I was saying, a good grasp of the English language as well as grammar, because a semicolon can change the whole dynamics of the first paragraph that you read.
And that is some some of those things that are cultural or particular, those types of things. And the other thing is, are we finding that the governments are trying to make it easier to do business, or are they making it more difficult to do business?
I think they're trying to make it easier, but also at the same time more secure. As of 9/11, of course, security has become the biggest buzzword in international trade, and not just with the United States. Every time the United States implements some type of secure program, we watch it start trickling across the globe. And other countries also are saying, hey, we need to make sure we're keeping our country secure and safe as well.
What can make things, have that balance of the supply chain flow, maybe a little bit quicker, yet, remain secure?
Well, a lot of things on the horizon is e-commerce, e-business, electronic business, data integrity. More and more as we go into the electronic world, we're moving away from paper documentation, and by going into the electronic world and the data integrity submissions, you have more visibility from other government agencies importing and exporting cargo, so that they can see a lot more data than they used to see before. So it's a challenge in one way, but it's also an opportunity in another way. It's an opportunity for us to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves as individuals and our countries.
Well, that sounds like a very smart balance, and some great advice there and great things on the horizon. Thanks for joining us for this interview spotlight.